Hello everyone, it's Cheryl Millett here, live at 5. It's been a number of days, but that's okay. I've been away up north, and I just the phone with the little itty bitty screen just isn't my thing to work on. So it's either this big desktop, or it's I'm busy and just doing what I need to do with messages and text. So here we are. It's a Monday, November the 16th, live at 5, all things healthy. If you are used to this channel, then, or this, whatever, live at 5 that I created to be able to deliver information to the good people out there, then the idea is to cover something new, something different, and go into the news, be it the news is, how would I say it, important stuff. Really, I mean, it's things going on that impacts everybody globally, and then lighten up with some jokes, just some very easy, simple jokes and puns, those kind of things. So what I'll start off with here, I know it's just after 5, and is the something new. So let's get right into that. I just saw a quick post which made me think of it, and I thought, you know what? I was going to talk about something else, but this really is a fun thing. So, fat. Fat is very healthy, yes, and not all fats are created equal, and different fats for different things in the body, according to research and science. We're not going to go into all that detail, but at the end of the day, sometimes when you're making things, the fat that is left over is healthy. And this is not that you fry and brown and burn fat, but let's just say I'm going to show you something here, which is bacon. And it's not pork bacon, not beef bacon. It's from lamb. So we have lamb bacon. And the lamb bacon is sheep bacon, lamb bacon has, when you are, and I like to do it on low heat, gives some drippings, as sometimes people call. But they're very healthy and can be used with different things. Now I'm going to say at one level, which the post Dondra, thank you very much, is to add oatmeal to it. Now I know this is steel cut oats. You probably want to use the oats that are quick oats, and that'll absorb up the fat, and then you can feed it to the birds. Now I'm not sure if all grains for all birds, but hopefully the birds can figure it out. But then that's bird feed, and typically we'll use fat that way with all the seeds. It'll kind of hold it all together. So there might be other things you can use other than oatmeal for those who are very in the know and that of bird food. So that's now in Europe, when they use animal food, and you have the drippings, usually the fat drippings, particularly for, again, bacon. And of course, it hardens at room temperature. You would take that and you could put it into another container. And in some cases, it's going to have bits and pieces of the meat in there. And when I was in Denmark, and I was with somebody in their family, a friend I was working with, and we joined in Sunday brunch. But Sunday brunch went from 11 till like 4. It was a variety of things, but they had all their wonderful, what I call European breads. And we would actually take that would be the butter, is actually the drippings from the bacon or whatever meat they had. And it was different, it was unique, it's not the butter, but very tasty. And of course they had all the variety of the sardines and mustard sardines and this, sardines and that, and or herring. I think they called it mostly herring, but same species, I guess I'll call it. But that, I just wanted to come on something new that way and speak to that. So you can, and will, instead of pouring it down the sink, that's, even my dog will eat it, and love it. But the dogs, not all dogs can have a lot of fat. They will have the runts, which is not a very good thing. But you could absolutely use it as you would use butter, very flavorful, or you could use it as I use it, as I will make sweet potato fries in the oven, and sometimes there's garlic and onions with that, other potatoes, sweet potato, and I will use the fat. After they have cooked, I will put the fats on it, be it olive oil or even this, drippings as well. And it's, there's salty to it because typically that is like salted meat, and that's how it's kept for a very, very long time. As in the bacon, I'm thinking some sausages and stuff like that. But that's how you can use it. So you reuse it as you would butter or any other fat. You could probably use it in baked goods, but it will have that salty, so you don't need to add salt when it comes to that, especially if there's just a little bit there. I wanted to, and you only need a little bit. So let's go into the news. Let's go into the news. And I'm not sure if there's anybody on here, but if you are, say hello. Say a quick hello. Let's go into this little particular. It's one of the things that I love the most, and so hopefully I won't lose you on Facebook here. But this has to do with New Brunswick influenza shot. Now, there's not a lot of information, and it doesn't look like it's coming up. So let's just see here. See if it'll come up here. But the idea is they don't tell you too much information, but there is certainly some neurological that came up, and they're looking into it. That's probably basically the gist for that. Otherwise, yeah, confirms 3 adverse events following flu shot. So this was November the 14th. Let's see if it's going to come up here. Well, it was going to come up, but anyway, we'll carry on with that. That's just a short thing, and I've heard of some recently. There was other ones too as well. Was it Korea, someplace in Asia, where they also had some adverse effects, but they decided to continue to give the flu shots. See, what I'm understanding about the flu shots is they need to be refrigerated, and if anything goes wrong with that, that would give a tainted batch or whatever. The idea with flu shots is it has coronavirus in, so there's many ways you're going to test positive if you just have a regular cold or if you get the flu shot. And these are some things that's really confusing to the test, which is not for infectious diseases anyway, but you need to know about that. Now this is to do with the East Coast as well. Hopefully this will come up, but very, very interesting and something we need to, how would I say, press for the truth. That's what they say, the Corbett report. So the idea was there was a situation and recently where there were some documentation that was sent out to the good people, I believe it's Nova Scotia. And in this case, what happened was it was talking to the people there as there is a wolf issue, a scare, wolves, to scare the public here. So let me just, I want to, there's a number of things that I had on it here. So let's just see if I can find the longer one. Here we go. So, in essence, what happened was there were saying that they were wolves, and it was under the guise, or the letter was from the government. But guess what? It was a forged document, and it was pertaining to the military doing this. So what was last heard about this was actually what was last heard was it was supposed to be an exercise that they had in propaganda. The military, isn't this nice? The military is coming up with doing propaganda for the people. So if it was a school, if you were going to school, let me just say this, if you were attending school, would you not know that you're in school? Would you not know that whatever you're doing is homework? And in this case, the spokesperson had said that they are not quite sure. It was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be for the people. They were on an exercise. I'm sorry, but how do you get away with that? And how do people with the right mind go, oh, we're needing to do this for the people. Oh, no, this is actually homework. So I'm confused on how they're confused and why the spokesperson would come up with say that there was some confusion when they were in an education center. But here's the thing. They went on to say there that they actually went as far. So never mind just the letter. They went so far as to put up speakers, loudspeakers, to actually give wolf howling noises throughout the night, throughout times. I'm not sure if it's just the night, but to actually do that, and that was happening. So an exercise when you have, yeah, 1, 2, 3 things going on like this, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So there is a few pieces here to actually provide you on that, but that is interesting, you know, very interesting. So you're going to be able to see this and read this and watch that because it's actually a YouTube video as well, but there's also a site here which I'm going to put up both just in case one comes down. But that is very interesting. Now the other thing is, and it's linked Trudeau's, yeah, I don't want to put any other words in here, but this is leaked information. And can people actually link information to actually lead the good people to get all up in arms? Possibly, you know, possibly. But in essence, there's other politicians that are coming forward now, and you're signing paperwork, and they're trying to put right now, find the link, to actually head it off ahead of time that vaccines are not mandatory. So good news for sure. Wonderful news, right? But whoa, this is kind of crazy information. So here, let me put this together for you and read through it, and then I'll put the link there. So in essence, there's committees which are involved in corporations and governments. And so these committees, so this person is want to provide you with very important information. I'm a committee member with the Liberal Party of Canada, and I sit within several committee groups, but the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the PMO. Now, I need to start off by saying that I am not happy doing this, but I have to, because as a Canadian, and more importantly as a parent who wants a better future, not only for my children, but for other children as well, the reason that I am doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored, and they plan on moving forward toward their goals. They have also made it clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. But of course there's things that can stop the planned outcomes, because people like this and other people in the government can only be on side with doing the right things. So here's the roadmap. Not to get too crazy about it, people, but you know, just to be aware of it. The roadmap and aim was settled by the PMO and is as follows. Phase and secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, and expected by November 2020. What are we in? Yes, 2020, and it seems that they're started with the cities. I mean, this is actually happening, so be it this is from October the 10th. Rush the acquisition of or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territories, expected by December 2020. So because we know what's happening November 2020, that's a confirmation of the first point. This is why we need to pay attention to this. So daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curve. So remember, we are in fall, we are in cold season, we are in flu season, and every year thousands of people pass due to their morbidities and other things that are going on. So this is expected by the end of November. Remember, more testing means more positive cases. More spins of the COVID testing will come out with positive testing. So a complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by the end of 2020. We're going to get into that holiday season. And it seems like no matter what's happening, no matter what people ask the questions, it is there. So expect by the end of December 2020, early January 2021. So let's see what's happening here. Although not everybody's waiting for this, but for you that are on here and you're not part of any of the groups or Sylvan Henry and other groups, to move forward to do some of the things we're doing to educate people, this is stuff that you can come back to or take notes on. Reform and expansion of the unemployment program. See, more and more businesses shutting down, more and more people going into unemployment to be transitioned to the universal basic income program. They've already spoken to that. The government's already spoken to that. So, and SERVE, and CRB, I think something like that now. So this is already in place, expected by the first quarter 2021. And I also saw a particular other article that spoke to, actually it's not an article, but it was a picture of a televised where Dr. Tam was on there, and it said in there, if we are going to loan you money to keep you in business, it's going to be from the government, and the government will own part of your business. That's part of the plan. You want money? Then we don't want to loan you in a certain way. We do want to loan you, but we want a part of your business. So what comes with that? Maybe they get a chance to do this, do that, or whatever. Who knows? Let's go on here. Projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary viruses. Oh, referred as COVID-21, leading to a third wave much higher. How do they expect these things, people? And I've talked this before. There is no way they can project things like this without thinking that they want to, it's planned, okay? Leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and higher rate infection expected by February 2021. How can they project that? There is no way. No way. Daily new cases of COVID-21 hospitalizations and COVID-19 and COVID-21 related death will exceed medical care facilities capacity. That probably fits in with the isolation. Expected Q1, Q2. Enhanced lockdown restrictions referred down as the third lockdown. If I was running a town, if I was running the world, there's no way we can expect these things. I'm sorry. This is entirely planned, will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity, expected Q2 2021. Transition of individuals into universal basic income program, expected Q2. So they tell you about it, and they want to keep transitioning people into this simple program to get everybody that. Projected supply chain breakdowns, projected inventory shortages, large economic instability, deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas as well as all major roadways to establish travel checkpoints. Yeah, they don't want you moving around freely. This is similar to Australia. Restrict travel and movement, provide logistical support to the area. So along with that, it goes on. I'm going to let you read through this, but it gets down to debt. Now, debt has been the downfall for a lot of people because you have to have a job to pay the debt. If you don't pay the debt, the bank takes over your house, the bank takes over your car, whatever it is that you have debt in there. So debt has been. The Wealthy Barber talked about that as well to great lengths, and over the years, don't have debt. Don't have credit card debt. Well, that's the largest interest rates, craziest to have that one. But you know, these personal line of credits came into play. First it was loans, and then you got this personal line of credit, pay this, pay that, but then you have this, and then you have that. And anyway, it's debt, the debt that people have taken on over the years. If you can't pay it back, what happens? The bank owes this, and the bank and the government. So now it seems like the government is going to be able to get debt relief. Why? Because we have it in the first place. So creating all this debt for people, we're definitely putting people into a vulnerable position. So confiscating, forfeiting property, assets, and all of that. Is that something that people want? No, absolutely not something that people want. Anyway, let's continue on here. I'm just going to see if things are going on here. Anybody says anything? There you go. So we've got the wolf scenario. This is for Canada. Okay, we have ongoing groups, and we have ongoing Rocco Galati, no lockdowns. website, and this is where you can sign on to things. So there is things that to sign, things to support, things to read, and so forth. And I think in a lot of ways, if we can step back here, remember we have to continue to be calm, continue to raise our vibration, compassion, come together, no judging, all of that, like all these wonderful things that we still have to apply. I had great, wonderful laughs with my uncle. We're playing crib and just into the moment. I mean, everything's not right in front of us, and our life needs to carry on. Still haven't worn masks, but I can tell you the latest. I was up in North Bay, and there's something that's come down through to the businesses. You know, now that they've got, you know, curbside pickup, delivery involved. It's one of those. I haven't been to a restaurant, so this is my first thing with a friend. We go in. She doesn't wear a mask either, and they would not let us in. So we had to leave, and then we ordered online because it was one of the nicer place. And the thing that comes out of their mouth is, this is a private business, so we don't have to let you in. It has nothing to do with the bylaws. Nothing to do with the bylaws. But somewhere, insurance, government, someplace, even there's another, I just connected with a seniors group, and with that they had said, we have to abide by, you know, for insurance reasons, because they have insurance. I don't have insurance on my Forest Hill Walk Club, but when you have a bunch of, you know, number of seniors, they're all seniors over, most of them are over 60, 65, 70, they're retired. You know, they're constantly contacting the insurance companies, and the insurance companies constantly like, you know, handcuffing them, and almost to the point where she said, I regret even calling the insurance companies, because, you know, ignorance is bliss, but they're not covered unless they go by the rules. Now, the rules are that people can be exempt from masks. And when I was talking to her about leading the group, because they stopped leading the seniors group on Wednesday, when I sent a nice email and said, look, I'm happy to do it for a couple of hours in my neighborhood, because they go off all kinds of crazy places, and that would just take too much of my time under the conditions and things I have to do and busy. But the idea was, I'm going to meet up with her on December 2nd, and she's going to pass it to, because there's the turtles and there's the hares. Okay, you can guess. The turtles go much slower. They only go for about an hour and a half. And then the hares will go for a few hours, so 4 hours, and then have a lunch, which is next to impossible these days. So I'm not sure if they how they manage it in the newbie, but they're not running the hares anymore for that reason of insurance and this. So they decided not to. So in talking to them, you know, we have this distancing, and we're outside, and we have the mask. And I said to her, I don't wear masks. If that's a problem, let me know. But where I'll work with it is the distancing. And then I say, well, the WHO only says 1 meter, yet the governments here say 2 meters. So it's like a constant extension of what needs to be to what's not science and not researched. Absolutely. So let me see what else we have here in the idea. Yeah, so you've got the wolves thing going on. You've got the adverse events following the flu shots, and that's not the only ones in the world. You've got, yeah, I mean, the latest and greatest for the Trump election, and what I want to say to that quite quickly is when Trump declared an emergency, there are other things that come into play. And when things come into play like that, or when you have an emergency, declaring an emergency, and it's still in that mode, other things come into play. And there is definitely something about the election. So what I understand is, well, reading some things, just because I have to see it with my own 2 eyes, there was a tweet come out, and this tweet was by Trump. And interesting enough, there were so many comments below. I only probably got through a dozen. But the dozen I got through are from what I call Trump haters. And, I mean, anything that comes out of his mouth, and I saw it even with talking to other people, it's just they quickly go, lies, 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 lies. It's, and then, you know, you're going to go to prison. I mean, it's crazy just how harsh and how angry people are getting over something. I get it that, this is a time for growth, but understand that when people can be like that, there's a good opportunity. They need to look within, that they have this anger, this frustration, or this hatred against, but they've had it there. Or it was built up by propaganda, and that's the other thing as well. Built up by propaganda, acting out not on their own, but by the way the masses are acting out on any such event, not even this event. So it's ongoing as to what's going to happen with the election. It could come out that it's null and void. The whole election gone, just gone for good reasons. If they find and discover the flaw in the computers because they were outside of the U.S., Germany and Canada, but they found out that Venezuela was also involved in the systems and generating information, China as well, Spain, and then it went through Canada, but there were investors. So anyway, that's an ongoing thing. That's the only thing I want to say about that. So no worries, just continue to set out the intention that the truths will come out and that we continue to have our freedoms, our freedom of choice and free will. Focus on that with no doubt and the highest vibration that you can. I know it can be challenging, as some obviously are having issues with it, but it will be in everybody's best interest as any individual to kind of let go of the mainstream media and to focus on what you do want and in the lightest of ways. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. Take care of yourself and your loved ones for sure. So let me just see what else there is. I think that's probably enough for today. Actually, I have a quiz here. Just going to go through a couple of them and maybe go through a couple of them at every Live at 5. We'll just kind of get this going here. It's a neat quiz. I'm actually going to put it up, and now I've got to kind of give you two links because one is a PDF about how well do you know your COVID facts. So there's no answers in here. It's by Vaccine Choice Canada. I know it's not really related to vaccine, but yes, it could be, thinking COVID vaccine. So I can see how they have absolutely gotten place. So Canadian society has been dramatically changed as a result of measures imposed by government responses to COVID-19. The following quiz is designed to test your knowledge of the risk of COVID-19 and the effectiveness of related measures. So very lovely, very light, and it's a COVID quiz, right? So here, what percentage of Canadians have purportedly died as a result of COVID-19? Is it 10%? Is it 1%? Is it 0.1%? Is it 0.024%? I'm going to look at the answer over here. Hopefully it'll come up quickly enough. Okay, so what percentage of the Canadians have purportedly died? The number of Canadians purported to have died due to COVID-19 constitutes just under 0.024% of Canada's population. This is less than 1/40th of 1% of Canada's entire population. Wow, who knew? I'm sure some people would say 0.1%, but as they say, it's closer to the flu. So let's go on to another one. There's actually 12 on here, but I definitely want to do a few of them. What percentage of deaths attributed to COVID-19 in Canada occurred in individuals under the age of 60? Is it 50%? Is it 20%? Is it 10%? Or is it 5%? So let's see what the percentage is. I'm going to say 5%, but let's just see what it says here, because that's the lowest of numbers, and I would have even said lower. But what percentage of deaths attributed to COVID-19 occurred in individuals under age 60? Of all deaths attributed to COVID-19 in Canada, less than 5% have occurred in individuals under the age of 60. And most of these individuals had other chronic health conditions, and there have been no deaths in children in Canada. Well, there you go. What percentage of, and some of the children, I'm just going to back, some of the children earlier on in this whole planned COVID, was children that apparently fell off a horse or got kicked by a horse or fell off a bike or some sort of an accident, yet they put COVID on there. Is it because the hospitals got more money? Perhaps. And the parents were livid because it changed how they could, do a funeral or something like that. What percentage, so this is number 3, of deaths attributed to COVID-19 in Canada occurred in an extended care facility? 95%, 54%, 82%, or 27%? So let's see. At least 82% of deaths attributed to COVID-19 in Canada occurred in extended care facilities. This means that less than 18% of the deaths occurred outside of an extended care facility. Now, if you measured that or compared that side by side, year after year, the number of deaths from, let's say, flu, respiratory illness, something like that, that occurs, I wonder what that comparison would be. I'm going to say is probably closer to at par than we realize here. Number 4, the number of deaths attributed to COVID-19 is similar to a moderate or severe influenza season. True or false? Let's just say true on that one, but I'm going to double check. Let's see here. True. According to Infection Prevention Control Canada, and by all of these things that I'm talking about has a reference to it. So according to Infection Prevention Control Canada, approximately 8,000 Canadians die annually from influenza and pneumonia, both respiratory. Well, influenza, there's usually some sort of respiratory there. Pneumonia. In 2018, the mortality of influenza and pneumonia was calculated at 230 million, or 8,687 deaths. And as of July 2020, the mortality rate attributed to COVID-19 was 236 per million, or 8,901 deaths. That's a difference of only 214 deaths. So that's basically what I was asking for, as in what was the comparison for that. It's 1 year, but I'm sure it's not that much difference from year over year. Remember, we have a lot of people vulnerable. A lot of people are vulnerable to doing over-medicated, and really, I believe these long-term care facilities are for money only. Do not put your loved ones in these homes. Forget it. Find other ways to do it, whichever way we can. They are probably in and of themselves a death camp, and I don't mind saying that. But we have to work towards that. Now, a friend of ours is trying to get her mother out of a lockdown long-term. She fell, and overnight she fell, and she'd been lying on the floor all night before they found her. So we really need to, look after our loved ones no matter the age. So individuals who have died, this is the last one I'll do for today. Individuals who have died with COVID-19 but not as a result of COVID-19 are included in the case counts for COVID-19 deaths. True or false? Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And they have said that multiple times in the press conferences since March, that they absolutely included. In fact, you can see on Canada's Health Canada, what a website there, the Government of Canada, where they increase the death rates. And I still mention this to people and they have no idea. Of course they don't have any idea. They're not going to go read the government site. There's so much information there. But they increased the death rates in Canada by 50%. Reason being, as they said in there was a study in Europe, a small study in Europe, that showed that some deaths from COVID went undetected. Now, if they're putting COVID on a lot of the death certificates, and let's just take note, logically, every person gets a death certificate, how is it possible? How is it possible that they're actually missing any COVID, be it the situation meant that they will just, with COVID, like it's running water. So that didn't make sense at all to me, because think of it hypersensitive. There's more hyper awareness on the situation at hand. So how they can increase it by 50% and actually agree with that. Now, there was no link to the study, and I could not find that study on the web. So, is it something just pulled out of thin air? It's the only time I ever saw it, read it, or anything was on the government website. Anyway, I'm going to leave that for that, and let's just see here, any comments or whatever. So we're getting to a situation here where I think more and more people are awakening to what's going on. Why? Because at one point in February, March, we could see that there might be something here. Not enough information, but now we are in November. So it's not March anymore. We are in November, and it's still happening. And at the breath of the Prime Minister, another lockdown. Then it filters down into the provincial. So all of this keeps happening without any answers and no real science or research. So at the end of the day, coming together and being positive, but positive in a way that you're raising your vibration and coming together is going to be so, so, so important. Let me see if there is anything else I want to mention. Don't want to go into too much of the details, but the idea is we still have to focus. We still have to focus on what. So I'm going to list those 2 links for the COVID quiz. I'm going to link something to the leaked information from a person who's with the Liberal Party and the Wolves. I'm going to put that in there as well. And there's a few things. And the public health confirming that there's adverse with flu. But you know, this isn't the first time adverse. I have met people, have had clients, in fact, where the flu shot or a vaccine shot has been the life-changing. So I have a question in intake form, which is, has there been anything in your life that was life-changing to your health? And flu shot and vaccine shots have come up where they have not felt the same afterwards, but they don't report it. So I have to tell you, anybody who's on drugs, medications, report the adverse effects. It's on the Health Canada site. You can easily get it, reporting adverse effects from medications, and do that then. I'm not sure how critical it is. Tell your doctor, and avoid meds like the plague. It's really key that a couple of things. One, you understand the environment is huge. Your environment in your headspace, your environment in your body, your environment that you're living in, the environment, the political environment, all these are environments. And whatever's coming from them are going to change and roll and dive with the way we think and feel. The environment, the grocery store environment, all the processed foods. But our environment is dictated what we put into our mouth, how we treat our body, movement, exercise, and also our thoughts. So when we choose our thoughts in a way that brings us to a state of peace or a state of higher vibration, focusing on these important intentions. Now I'm only just painting a broad stroke here, very, very, very broad. And it's, you know, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here for people uniquely, and to give more information and understandings, because there are different levels where people are at in their understandings, in their growth. So I'm just going to leave it as that. So let's tell a couple of jokes. I'm thinking, yeah, so whoa. I mean, that's the whole thing. We really do have to stop and take note of what's going on. And wow, we have a lot of potential here, and we're living through some interesting times. And wonderful, well, it's wonderful that at a certain level, many, many people, whether it's in government, people that are in the hospitals, are coming forward. The scientists are coming forward. They can't take it anymore for what they're seeing and for what they're hearing. Mainstream and governments are saying to people, they don't jive. So it's wonderful that more and more people are coming out. They're just leaving their jobs. I mean, it's great. Here's sending out a prayer to those people who need the strength to do so and to manage it thereafter. and appreciation and gratitude for all of us coming together and feeling confident not to wear a mask, confident to share some of this information with other people without judgment. And if they're not ready for it, if they are, quickly to shut down, then this is why I'm with this other group. So tonight at 6, a call to look at and assess some printed material that we can continue to share. But some of these links, some of this information we can do. But it's really nice if we can just ask people, how are you doing? What do you think about this? And this is where I'm getting more and more of the information back. Some people go, hey, listen, our immune systems, they think the COVID is real, but they strongly believe that our immune systems are the magic, and they'll get through this. They're not understanding or believing that this is a plan, and maybe don't want to believe, and that's okay. There's enough information going to continue to come out, and for people to see it is totally, whoa, unbelievable. But here we go. Let's say some jokes here. And what did the right eye say to the left eye? What did the right eye say to the left eye? Between you and me, something smells. I like that. I like that one for this time. Here's another one. I have kleptomania, but when it gets bad, I take something for it. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with those ones because I like those ones. Those two. Anyway, that's it. So laugh, joke, find out something new, whatever you are deeply interested, be it photography or foraging or whatever topic, explore it. Keep yourself busy and aware and participating where you can with anything, signing petitions, staying in touch with certain groups, and I'm happy to put you in touch with some. But if you go on the Vaccine Choice Canada, you'll find a lot of little information, not a lot, you'll find a lot of information, and so much on the COVID and the situation that you'll be able to take little bits of it and actually share it. So whether you share it social media or you share it, you can print these down. These are PDFs, and you can kind of share it. So I think I'm going to print them down. I'm going to print them out. I'm going to bring them to the Walk Club, and I'm actually going to share some of them because it's not as bad as mainstream media and government say it to be. And we're really dealing with a similar situation we have in the past years. Should you stay home when you're not feeling well? Absolutely. Should you wash your hands appropriately? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Should we care for our loved ones? Absolutely. So we're going to keep plugging on. So that's it for Live at 5 today. I am not sure if Facebook is still liking me or not. I don't see if there's anybody on here. But say hello so that I know this or that. And take care. Enjoy your evening your way. Enjoy. That's what is going to be helpful at this time. So participate, bring people together. I'll post the links down below. Live at 5 Mondays. This is Cheryl Millett, and I will look forward to any comments, feedback, questions, anything that we can all share with each other. There we go. And thank you, just lastly, to all the people out there, Alina, Sharon, Jack, so many of you that continue to send me the videos and news, because that's really all. Besides some group stuff, that's really gives me enough information anyway. But I do have to catch up because I've been away for about 5 or 6 days, so I am in catch-up mode. But that's what I can share with you so far, as in catch-up mode. And there you go. So take care, everyone. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you again live at 5 soon. Bye for now.